Hi, this is Niranjan Vatkaria and welcome to my channel. I make a lot of interesting videos related to endodontic, rubber dam, composites and microscope training. I would highly recommend that you subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell icon so that tomorrow I make a new video, you would receive the notification for the same. Now, in the part 1 and the part 2 of the video, we have discussed in detail all about the anatomy of the root apex, all about the apex locators, the factors that determine the working length reading or factors which alter the working length reading, then when to take the working length reading, and also about the maintenance of the apex locator. If you have still not seen those two videos, I would recommend that you see see the part 1 and the part 2 before you are viewing the part 3 video. Now in this video, I have interviewed a special guest who would share his views on the apex locators. We have a special guest today in our video, and I'm thankful to Vivek Hegde sir for giving me the time so that he could share our views about the apex locators. Now, sir has been like a mentor to me, he's like a father to me, and he's guiding me and all my colleagues and everyone across the globe. So, sir, we would like to have your views on a few of the points. So, first and foremost, I want to ask you that do radiographs play, a very beneficiary role in determining the working length? Like, would you do a case where you are not using an apex locator and you would completely rely on radiograph for your working length determination? What are your views, sir?
First of all, thank you, Niranjan. You're doing a good job in educating the dental community. It's a nice, noble initiative that you have taken up. Congratulations to you for that. And I know you will be getting a lot of questions about apex locator because that's what is the topic for today's discussion. The question you put across is interesting. If you ask me, radiographs are playing a much lesser role. In fact, negligible, you could say, after the apex locators have come in. Yes, you need a pre-op, you need a diagnostic picture for sure. You have no choice. In fact, I'd say make multiple. Make angulated, mesial, distal, and say bang-on or end-on relation. So you have 3 pictures to study the case. But following which, you can reduce or minimize the radiation exposure for the patient, not because it's radiation exposure, because the apical limit of the radiographic apex, that's the anatomic apex, or the histologic apex, they don't coincide. So we don't want to go that way. So if you ask me, one of the best inventions that has come in the last maybe 2 decades back, which got more popular, has always been the apex locator. So I'm glad there's apex locator. So if you ask me, I never take instrument X-ray on a patient's mouth. It's mostly an apex locator. You have a pre-op picture, and the next picture that I do is a master cone radiograph. That's it. There are times when in retreatments, when possibly you got a blockage, you're not getting the patency to get the circuit completed. In such cases, yes, in the benefit of doubt, one odd case I might rely on a radiograph. Otherwise, radiographs do not come in this step of determining the working length. It's only apex locators.
That's some excellent insight on the same, sir. Following the same question, I want to take it ahead. Do you think apex locator is like a necessary equipment when a fresher or a dentist who is starting out his own practice, should he invest immediately, or do you feel that it is like an adjunct and he or she should invest at a later date?
No, I feel it's a must now. In fact, it's a compulsory thing, like how you would possibly buy an endo motor with a endo handpiece, or like how to buy an aeroter. So somebody who is doing an endo practice must invest in an apex locator. There's no choice for that. I commonly get this question, RVG or apex locator? Both are 2 different things. You're comparing apples and oranges. Right. So I feel it's a must. And in fact, you need to have an apex locator, because in the previous question I did answer, the radiographic apex and the anatomic or the histologic apex never coincide. Right. or seldom coincide.
Right, sir.
That's why apex locator is a must for people who follow good endodontix.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, if we are negating the apex locator philosophy, then what do you think could be the second best method to determine a working length? Of course, you have already answered that radiographs are not the best way, but if not apex locators, what could be the second best method?
I don't think there's another choice for that. If you ask me frankly, we all have done radiographic method and for long years. The problem is, whenever a canal opens laterally, it is seldom seen. It is seen maybe when it's mesial or distal. We are happy to say, the apical hook, the curved canal that's coming out of the root canal, we're happy to show.
Right, sir.
But so much of the times, it opens buccolingually, which is never seen on the radiograph. So even if you take a radiograph, any technique, maybe Grossman's formula, maybe Ingles method, maybe Wein's method, any method where they say, subtraction methods, you're still maybe not sure. You're just assuming.
Right, sir.
Again, based on the age, a young patient to a geriatric patient, adolescent or pediatric or geriatric, it's all different apical limits. They are far away because of the cemental deposition. So a lot of guesswork. So I would say, why do you want to guesswork? Rather, don't compromise on that one thing on apex locator. That's it.
So, sir, what do you think can, apart from the apex locators, do you feel that CBCT can be used for working length determination? Of course, if somebody has an in-house CBCT, that is nothing like it. But if somebody does not have, then what are your views, sir?
Yeah, CBCT is quite a real thing. It's called virtual reality, which means if you measure the tooth in different planes, the buccolingual or the mesodistal, the actual length of the tooth, you can't go wrong with CBCT.
Right.
And there are some good papers on that in Journal of Endodontics
Right.
supporting the same.
Right.
But again, the problem is what? You're getting the actual length of the tooth.
Correct, sir.
But you're supposed to have a working length which is shorter than that. Maybe 0.5, maybe 1 millimeter, whichever you decide,
Yes.
based on the age of the patient. Because the minor diameter where we want to stand or stop is much inside the outer limits,
Right, sir.
which CBCT will not be able to show you.
Okay.
CBCT can find the major diameter, maybe the external limit of the tooth,
Okay.
the portal of exit.
Okay.
Again, the debate is if it's a lateral opening, CBCT is not so sensitive and specific.
Okay.
So I have my reservations on working length,
Okay.
but yes, the total length of the tooth, 100% it can't go wrong, provided your limits of marking, the occlusal reference and the apical extension or the limit that you marked,
Okay.
buccolingually and mesodistally are the same. It will give you the same reading.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I would say here.
Okay. Okay. So coming to another question. So each and every RVG software has this, a feature of a measurement scale. Okay. How do you feel? How accurate are those?
No, they're not accurate. That's I've spoken to a couple of companies. I've asked them also. There's quite relative maybe, but please don't go by that. That cannot be. It's closer. When you say, generally what happens when you get a range, say 3 millimeters short, it's not 3, it can be 3.5, it can be 4, or it can also be 2.5. That kind of distortion factor, because these are all converted images.
Okay.
In the process of conversion, you are going to lose some values.
Okay.
So these are not relatively specific, please. No.
Okay. Okay. So do you feel that the type of dentine plays some role in, altering the working length? Like if it is a geriatric patient, if there is a lot of tertiary dentine deposition, then it might, alter the readings. What are your views, sir?
Yes. Actually, one of the good articles that come earlier told you need to have transparent dentine, which can conduct the circuit very well. And transparent dentine is of course seen on the inner wall at the apical third, somewhere near the minor diameter. But having said that, the question that you put, when the patient from young to old may not have the same quality of dentine. So even apex locators may have some variation. It's not like 100 out of 100 cases the apex locator works. But the good apex locator will definitely work more than 95 or 96 or 98%.
Okay.
Which means 2 to 5% of errors can still happen. So that's the kind of chance you need to take. But at least 95% of the times you can avoid a radiography, and more than the radiography or the exposure, you're going that much closer to perfection.
Okay. Coming to the last question, sir. So if I have a clinical situation where I have judged the working length on an apex locator, okay, and now is the time that I take my master cone radiograph, and on the master cone radiograph, I see that it is 1 millimeter short. So it is always in the mind of dentist that I should rework on the same and I should take it till the radiographic apex, and those are the moments where something goes wrong and the case really turns in a negative way. So do you feel such kind of practice should be avoided?
Yes, definitely yes. Like I started to say, please believe in your apex locator. That's the best way, because it's like what apex is not to be seen; it's to be felt. The feeling of the histologic apex only an apex locator, the file that you put, gives you. If you're in doubt, do 2 times. Do something known as an initial apical file. Initial apical file is the first file that binds to the full length and snugly fits. But yes, the cross section may not match. Now that you've enlarged the diameter to 2 or 3 sizes larger, whatever prescribed diameter that you want, it's called the working width. Once you've enlarged it, please take the master apical file, insert that and confirm again. If there's any scope of correction, you still can correct it. But if the initial apical file and the master apical file show the same length and the master cone is still short, go ahead. You don't have to extend till the radiographic apex. Because I've seen some cases, in due respects, whichever have gone for extractions, on a radiograph they look beautiful well within the tooth. But when you have extracted, I've seen GP points that are overextended and in the periodontal space.
Yes.
So these kind of things happen. So try and believe in the apex locator. This is a wonderful topic, Niranjan, you've taken up. I think we have to stress more and more on this concept of using this electronic apex module.
Yes, sir.
The apex
Yes,
location.
Sir. So at the end of this 3-part series related to apex locator, I hope most of the doubts have been cleared, and now you don't have any fear in your mind when you would be using this equipment. Believe me friends, it is a boon to use an apex locator, and it is a very necessary equipment that you should be having in your endodontic inventory. When it comes to apex locators, there is no other choice, and do not rely on your radiographs to take the working length reading. This will lead to less post-operative flare-ups, and each and every treatment or endodontic treatment that you perform is going to be predictable, and you would never face any post-operative complications. Well, see you friends in the next video.